Hello, Cavaliers. This is Miss Ponte, and I'm coming at you today with some information for our seniors because you all are so lucky and you don't have to worry about picking your classes at Calvert High next year. But you do have some other really big things to think about, and that's what I'm going to be talking to you about today. So before we get started on the real hard-hitting information, I want to start with some celebrations. So many of the members of the class of 2023 have shared with their counselor their good news about options they have for next year, whether it's getting accepted to colleges, whether it's accepting an apprenticeship or a position in a trade union, or committing to the military, anything like that that has to do with your future. And this is all about making sure everybody at school knows your good news and the options that you have for your future. So I just want to take a moment to show you where you can access this. Now, of course, there's a bulletin board right outside the main office. You can go there and take a look. And there is also an electronic version online. So some of you guys may have seen this on social media, but anytime a student brings in a letter of acceptance or a letter of, commitment, anything like that, we post it on the wall of acceptance. So I just want to take a moment to give a shout out to all these amazing seniors who've got some really awesome choices for what they're going to do after they graduate from high school. So shout out to you all. We see you. Your hard work is paying off, and we love celebrating you and sharing your good news. So if you haven't yet turned in your senior celebration and want to be included, let me know. Let your counselor know. Send us your information, and we'll be sure to post you up because, as you guys can guess, we love to celebrate in the counseling office. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is scholarships. So I would say a lot of our seniors plan on going to college or trade school after they graduate. And the one big thing that comes along with that is finding money to pay for college or pay for trade school. Scholarships are it, guys. Scholarships are free money that does not have to be paid back. So in my mind, it's the most ideal version of financial aid. Yes, there are loans. Yes, there are payment plans, but that's going to ultimately cost you money in the long run. So scholarships are it, guys. Free money that you don't have to pay back. So a lot of times students will ask us, well, where can I find scholarships? And that is what I want to talk to you about today. So there are a lot of scholarships out there, a lot of places you can get them. One of the most common places is from the college or university or trade school that you're applying to. It can come in the form of merit aid because you have good grades in high school or because you're involved in things. It can come because you're in a special program at a college, maybe in an honor college, or a specific major that they're looking to grow, something like that. Or it can come from athletics. If you're Division I or Division II, they can call it athletic money. If it's Division III, sometimes they may call it something different. But I would say the bulk of money comes directly from the college, university, or trade school that you're going to be applying to. Another way that you can access scholarship information is by completing your FAFSA. And every senior who's planning on going to college or trade school should be filling out your FAFSA. And what this is it takes your tax information and your parents' tax information and sends it to the school so they can determine how much federal or state financial aid you're eligible for. And a lot of colleges and trade schools require that you complete the FAFSA so that you can be eligible for their scholarships. So everyone should be completing the FAFSA. And it's free to complete, so no big deal there. And then another place you can get scholarships is from individual organizations like churches or maybe a retired teachers association, businesses, that kind of thing, from private individual places that want to give out money to students. So there's a lot of places to get free money. So how do you apply for scholarships? And here's the thing. Nobody's going to give you money for doing nothing, unfortunately. So you got to take some time to apply. So like I talked about, a lot of the money will come from colleges or trade schools. And that's typically done with your application. When they review you to admit you they look at you for money. So they look at your test score, your GPA, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you may need to do additional things like maybe write an essay to be considered for a particular scholarship or do something else. But for the most part, it typically comes along with your application materials. And then typically you also, like I mentioned, have to fill out your FAFSA. And then individual scholarships through those smaller organizations, they have a lot of varying requirements. Sometimes they require, I would say an essay is probably one of the most common things. And I know you guys don't want to write essays, but here's the thing. If you write an essay, you can potentially get $500 or $1,000 or $2,000. Even I would write an essay for $2,000, and I hate writing. So think about it that way when you're saying, oh, I don't want to do it. It can make a big difference in the long run. They also typically will require a transcript and sometimes even a letter of recommendation. So just have an idea of what you're looking for as you're applying. One thing I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, but if you are planning to go to CSM, time is ticking. There's the CSM Promise Scholarship, which means that you could have CSM entirely paid for. The only thing you have to do is meet income requirements that your parents, if you live with two parents, can't make more than $150,000. If you live with one parent, I think it's $100,000. So you have to meet some income requirements and have a high school GPA of a 2.3. So I feel like that's probably most people. But one thing you definitely have to do is complete your FAFSA by March 1st. So you've got about 2 weeks or so left. So if you haven't done your FAFSA yet, make sure you do, even if you're not sure you're going to CSM. If you send it, and even if you don't end up going, it's not a big deal. But if you don't fill out your FAFSA, you close that door. So think about this. And you also have to include CSM as one of your FAFSA recipients, because you'll pick out colleges to send your FAFSA to. So make sure you do your FAFSA, and make sure, if you haven't already, maybe log back onto your FAFSA and add CSM as one of your schools, because this will help make sure that you can be eligible for the Promise Scholarship. And then what will happen is after March 1st, you're going to get an email from MD-CAPS, from MHEC, the Maryland Higher Education Association. They'll send you information about completing an additional application to be eligible for the Promise Scholarship. So make sure you do that and keep an eye out for that email, because money is limited for this, and it's first come, first serve. So, if you apply too late and there's no money left, you don't get it. So this could be a really good opportunity. Take it from somebody who's still paying their student loans. If I could have had my college partially paid for, I would totally have jumped at that chance. So if you're thinking about CSM, make sure you're doing your FAFSA and thinking about the CSM Promise Scholarship. So one thing students always ask me is, where do I find scholarships? Ms. Ponte, can I have some of that scholarship money? And if you're lucky enough, you visited Mr. Rolich, and he has a stack of fake Monopoly money in his office. So maybe you can get some scholarship money from him. But really the best way to find scholarship to apply for is by searching online. So these two websites, FastWeb and CapEx, are both scholarship search engines. So what you can do with these websites is log on, create a profile. It'll give you all kinds of information. It'll ask for all kinds of information about you, what your GPA is, what your SAT or ACT scores are, what kind of activities you do, where you plan to go to college or trade school, what you plan to study, what your future career goals are. Both of these websites are going to get all up close and personal. And the whole point in that is so that they can then share information with you about what scholarships you'd be eligible to apply for. And I can tell you guys, FastWeb has been around for a while. I used it when I was in high school, so I'm kind of partial to that one. But FastWeb or CapEx will totally be good resources as you're looking for scholarships. Now, another one is at Calvert High, we get a lot of information about scholarships, and I am actually in charge of sharing scholarship information with seniors. So there's a couple of different ways that I do that. And the big thing is I have a Google Drive, which I will show you, that I keep a list on. So, and you can access that at bit.ly/Calvert Scholarships. The C is capitalized and so is the S. If you don't capitalize it, it won't take you to the right spot. But, and I'm just going to show you this link. So this is what it'll take you to. So it's just a Google Drive, and yours may look a little bit different than mine, but I always keep a up-to-date scholarship list. So if you wanted to peek at this, you can just click on it, and it's just like a Word document. And it'll tell you the last date I updated it. So this is the last date that I got new scholarships, and it's all organized by date, by deadline. So you can see, you can take a look. So every scholarship is a little bit different, but it's kind of like the format's the same on the information I share. So it'll tell you, the scholarship name. It'll tell you the deadline to apply. A little bit of information about what the scholarship is looking for. So, for example, the Colonial Farm Credit is for seniors who are planning to study an agriculture-related field. So if that's you, great, you can apply. And then you would just apply by clicking on this link or, finding the application, whatever it may tell you. And that's how you can access the application. So you'll see there's a lot of different ones on here. Some of them are really specific, like this agriculture one, or Erica Weems is for senior female athletes. So some of them are specific, but some of them are like pretty open. They like Trinity United Methodist Church. This is for a lot of different students, and you can find it by clicking on this link, which let me show you this other part. So within the bit.ly link for the scholarships, there's also a folder that says scholarship applications. So for any of the ones on the scholarship list that say download application from the scholarship applications folder, you can go on here and then it'll give you the application on there. So you can just click on it, print it out, download it, whatever you have to do. But that's a really good way to be able to take a look at scholarships. And we get a lot of local scholarships. So the cool thing about that is that there's not a lot of people applying for those scholarships. So keep that in mind as you're looking for scholarships. I would plan on checking this bit.ly link like once a week. But another thing you can do is you can check your email. I try to send emails out from time to time with that same scholarship list attached to seniors. Or you can also sign up for remind text messages if you want. And I know a lot of you have already done this, but here's the information on here. You would text at Calvert HS, the number 1 to 81010. And then anytime I get a new scholarship, I'll send you a text with all that information that's in the sheet, in the list, so that you have the information so you won't miss a scholarship. And then I also post the scholarship listings on Twitter as I get them. So if you want to follow us at Calvert Guidance, I post them on there as well. So we get a lot of information. So make sure you're taking some time so that you can apply for these scholarships. Because truthfully, a lot of the ones are for local students, either in Southern Maryland or just in Calvert County. So if you apply, you have a pretty good chance of getting it. And I would rather you guys at Calvert High get the scholarships than the people at Huntingtown or Patuxent or in St. Mary's, because you all are the best students. So be sure you're taking some time to look at that. So another thing that's worth talking about is the Calvert LSA. And I know many of you have been working on this already, so props to you. But this is a local scholarship that can help you apply for over 90 local scholarships just for Calvert County students with one application. So it's open now. Let me show you the website, how you can access it. So you would log online to the website, and it's on the list here too. If you scroll down, it's due in March, sorry. I think it's on here. Wow, Miss Ponty's slacking. It's not actually on there. I'll just put it on there. But I know you guys have seen my emails about it. So clasp.org will take you to the website where you can apply. And it is due on March 3rd. So you can apply for over 38 or for more than 38 scholarships. That's just a list of providers with one application, 101 different scholarships. So and the application's kind of intense. You'll go through, it'll ask you to upload some documents, your transcript, a resume, 2 letters of recommendation. And this does take a little bit of time. I'm not going to lie. It's not something that you can do in an hour. It's pretty intense, but you're applying for like 100 scholarships. So think about it that way. But the cool thing about this is solely just for Calvert County students. So take a minute to complete this and look at this if you haven't already. That's my other piece of advice. That's a great thing for Calvert students. Another resource we have that's available to you is Chesapeake College Plan. So if you need help figuring out how you're going to pay for college or trade school, or you need help with your FAFSA, Mrs. Kidwell from Chesapeake College Plan is thebomb.com. I know we've talked about her a lot, but she's still coming to Calvert High. She's here every Tuesday during lunch in the counseling office. So you can pop in and you can meet with her. And I know some of you are busy. Maybe you're not here for lunch. I don't know. But if you want to email her, her email is collegeplan.mk@gmail.com. You can email her directly. She's even met with students like outside of the school day. She does virtual meetings. She's really flexible. So if you need her help, consider reaching out to her. You can also let your counselor know, and we'll make sure we connect you with her, because she really is an invaluable resource. I'm telling you, she's the bomb. So that was a lot of information. And now I want to give you all time to peruse the Calvert LSA website, the scholarship website. And I sent you all an email with all that information. But if you do have any questions, you need help with anything, let me know, let your counselor know, because we are here to help you guys. So enjoy and good luck.